So, would you please welcome to the stage Steve Friedberg.
Wayne.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Hi. How are you? How are you? I don't know if you've heard. They've come up with a crossbreed between a Canadian goose and a Mexican dog. They call it a Wawa Wawa. That's one. Guys, good evening, and thank you very much. And by the way, give yourself a hand for being here for Alex's lemonade stand. That's excellent. We have somebody who is a non-magician here. I tell you what, I just got back from the 4F convention, which is a invitation-only convention of 250 of the world's best magicians, and me. It's held outside of Buffalo. And while I was there, I met Garrett Thomas again. Now, Garrett is one of the great thinkers of what we do. And Garrett said something that really resonated with me. He said, if your audience isn't close enough to slug you, it's not close-up magic. So, what is it? Paul, right? Paul, would you join me up here if you don't mind, please? Come on up and give him a hand. Don't slug me. So good to meet you, man. How are you?
Nice to meet you.
So come on over here. If you stand over here, I'll tell you what we're going to do here. Yeah. Paul, there are people here in this room right now who are capable of memorizing the position of every card in the deck just by going like this. I'm not one of them. No, I was going to say, probably not. It's okay. And that's why I have 3 cards here. 3 cards. Now, I'm not going to ask you to memorize the position of 49 cards. But do you think that you could memorize the position of 3 cards? Neither did I. No, it's okay.
Maybe.
No, I'm not even going to do that. I'm going to keep it real simple for you. Because after all, I am a simple guy.
Okay.
Ask you to follow 1 card. The Ace of Spades. All right? Now watch carefully. If I take that Ace of Spades and I put it on the bottom, Paul, do you know what happens?
No.
It comes back to the top. Yeah. And Paul, if I take that Ace of Spades and I put it on the bottom like so, do you know what happens?
It comes to the top.
You've been to this rodeo, haven't you? Yeah, exactly. And if I take that Ace of Spades and I put it on the bottom like so, do you know what happens?
It comes to the top.
Absolutely, Paul. You are quick on the trigger. Paul, when I do this, a lot of people will say to me, I think I know what's going on. They say, I think you have more than 1 Ace of Spades. You have 1 on the bottom, you have 1 on the top, you have 1 in the middle. Paul, that would be cheating.
Would it be?
Cheating. And as long as you and I have known each other,
5 minutes?
you know that I don't cheat.
Okay.
Much. Much. What I can tell you legitimately is, look, guys, you've got the Ace of Hearts on the top. You have the Ace of Diamonds on the bottom. So, of course, in the middle, you have another Ace of Hearts. Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
Right.
Which means you don't have to worry about the Ace of Spades, because if you did, there would be 1 on the bottom, there would be 1 on the top, there would be 1 in the middle. Are there any questions?
No.
Good. Give it up for Paul, then. All right. Well, stick around. We're having some fun now, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You know, realistically, as soon as you saw a deck of cards, you knew instantly what they were, right? Because you've played cards. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Every one of us has played cards at one time or another. And as such, I can take this deck of cards, and I have done this. I've been around the world, and I've made friends because of a deck of cards. That is, everybody recognizes it. The second that I pulled this out, you said, okay, deck of cards, boom, fine. There was an instant connection. And I use this deck of cards because everybody has a favorite card. Now, it may not be one you go, that's my favorite card. But if I ask you to think of one right now, you got one?
Sure.
Okay, now, I'm going to learn a little bit about you about this, because here we go. I think I know your card. I got it. Now, I'm going to show it to everybody but you to prove that I'm not trying something fancy here. Okay, guys? Got it? Now, don't try to fool me. If you do, you will. But for the first time, would you please name your favorite card?
King of Hearts.
The King of Hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was fun. No. I thought that you were going to name it different. What card did you think? I think he was going to name the Ace of Spades. Because most guys will name the Ace of Spades.
Oh,
but you
really?
named the King of Hearts, and I think there's going to be a story there. Sir, hi. Your name is?
Jonathan.
Jonathan, it's a pleasure. Please give it up for Jonathan. Jonathan, why don't you come on over here just for a second? Jonathan, if you stand over here. Good. Now, I'm going to ask you to think of your favorite card as well. Have you got one?
Sure.
What is it?
You should think of 4 clubs.
Interesting story. So you chose the 4 of clubs. Where would you take the favorite card, the 5 of spades? Please show it to everybody. And would you please put the 5 of spades right anywhere you want? Perfect. And we'll just leave. All right. Paul, you chose the King of Hearts. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a story you shared with everybody, if you have one?
I just thought of it.
That's as good as anything.
Favorite card.
But the king tends to be a, royalty. The king, the powerful king. What do you do for a living?
Chef.
You're a chef. I'm sure we could find a combination. Well, it's okay. What kind of food?
Hospital food.
Oh, you're the one.
Uh-huh. I don't cook for patients.
Oh, God. All right, so that's fine. So you chose the King of Hearts because you want to kill us all with your cooking, and that's fine. I appreciate that. Yeah. My favorite card, as we noted, is the 5. And Jonathan, right?
Yes.
You chose the 4 of clubs. I'll tell you about that card later in this set, but why did you choose the 4?
One of my favorite cards because it's just off the wall.
Actually, it's not nearly as off the wall as you believe, and I will prove this to you a little bit later, as I said. But you chose the 4. Actually, the reason I chose the 5 of spades is rather specific. Because, you see, I've engaged both of you right now. I've learned a little bit about you, and I will tell you that the 5 of spades is the only card that always ends up between the King of Hearts and the 4 of clubs, the cards of my friends. Jonathan, thanks, man.
Thank you.
Paul, thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
So, at this point, people will say to me, that's pretty darn good, Steve. Do you do anything besides playing cards?
Well, that's pretty darn good, Steve. Do you do anything besides playing cards?
Why, yes, I do. Tarot cards. Yeah, this is an official weight rider deck of tarot cards. And you'll notice who's at the face of it, the magician. Yeah. Does anybody here study tarot or anything like that? Good, then I can make fun of you guys with total impunity. It's wonderful. Sir, what's your name?
Patrick.
Patrick, hi. You can see we have the King of Swords. We have the Strength. So what I'm going to ask you to do is just cut a packet of cards off the top. And would you turn them face up, please, and put them back right on top. Good. And would you be kind enough just to go a little bit deeper in the deck? Perfect. Turn them all face up. Now, we could have stopped on any of these cards, like, well, there's Strength, there's the Page of Cups, Death. Yeah. The Ace of Clubs, but that's fine. But we're going to put that card right there like so. Put the rest of these away. They don't matter. This is where we get out the Tarot Diary by F. Abraxas Winters. It says so right there. F. Abraxas Winters is a distinguished senior fellow of the Institute for Tarot Studies and a 13th level member of the Order of the Golden Dawn. Cool. I have no idea what the heck this means, but I will note to you that there is, in fact, a diary here. And every day has a a number. For example, what's your birthday, sir? What's your birthday?
The day then, or
Yeah, the day.
the day is 28th
Of?
October.
October 28th. So if we go to October 28th, I can tell you that there's October 28th, your card would be the Empress. It's day number 301. Every day between January 1, which is day 1, and December 31st, which is 365, has its own number. Great. So let's see if we can do this. There we go. Would you give me a number, 0, 1, 2, or 3?
3.
3. Would you give me a number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? 4. And would you give me a number between 0 and 9?
8.
8. So we have a day chosen, 348, a random number. Let's randomize it just a smidge more. If we add these 3 digits, 3 and 4 and 8, we get 15, am I right? I told you calculus would come in handy. So we're going to subtract that from 348 to come up with 333. Fair? Day 333 should be right around December 1st. As a matter of fact, it's November 29th. See, day 333?
Yes.
Do you see the name of a tarot card next to it?
Justice.
Justice. Would you join me up here just for a second? Thanks. Do you believe in coincidence?
Yeah.
So do I. What
What a coincidence.
Yeah, who I am. Do you believe in fate?
Yeah.
A little bit. Not everything. But you guys chose a number. We randomized it. We randomized it even further. We went to the diary and came up with, what was it?
Justice.
Justice. If you remember earlier on, we had a tarot card selected from a true tarot deck of cards.
Mm-hmm.
Would you take a look at that, share it with everybody, and tell them what card it is?
It's the Justice.
Justice. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Put that away. Guys, I'm going to tell you a quick story of how I got kicked out of the Home Depot last week. Yeah, it's true. You know what these are? Carpenter's pencils, right? 19 cents each. And they're blank on the other side. I go in there, I see they're blank on the other side. Now, as a marketing guy, I'd say to myself, well, wait a second. You could have, 20% off your next visit. Or you could hire Steve for your next, whatever. So I called the manager over. Now, maybe she was having a bad day. Maybe she was just, maybe some kind of combination thereof. I said to her, I'd like to help you. She goes, how? Well, I said, look at the pencils. So? Well, I said, if you go tap, 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 you'll see that the transferable ink prints on both sides. She said, sir, you'll have to take the ink off the other side. I don't have the approval of the Home Office in Atlanta. But sir, take the ink off. And I took the ink off. She says to me, sir, I really don't like your attitude. I said, lady, I don't like your attitude either. And if you're going to behave that way, I'll just take the ink off of both sides. She said, sir, you have to put the ink back on or I'll be forced to call the police. But ma'am, sir. And that's how I got kicked out of the Home Depot. Wayne said maybe he'll tell you a story about the Magic Castle. How many of you have been there? Anybody? Okay, so you know. Long, long time ago. It's not gotten any better. It's still as wonderfully whatever as ever. I will tell you about my first time there, a number of years ago. Now, we have a number of magicians here seated. Does the name Jerry Andrus ring a bell for anybody? 1, 2, etc. And that's cool. Jerry Andrus was one of the finest close-up magicians of the 20th century. He absolutely was incredible. And he was a denizen of the castle. He was there so often. It was wonderful. Now I'm going to ask you guys in the last row, if you want to stand up, please feel free to do so. That does two things. Number one, if you can't see what I'm doing here at the table, you'll be able to see better. And number two, if you applaud, I consider that to be a standing ovation. All right. So I'm sitting there sessioning, trading ideas with a guy named Lonnie Dillon, he was one of the first cardicians, one of the guys who was incredible at this stuff. Jerry Andrus walks up, and he sees me doing this, and it's like, he stands there and he watches, and he goes, "Nice work." I said, "Thank you, Jerry." He walks off. I turned back to Lonnie, who's like, I said, "What?" He said, "Dude, Jerry just complimented you." I said, "Yes, he did." He said, "You don't get it. Jerry does not lie. If he doesn't like your work, he won't say anything, or he'll say something like, I don't know I've ever seen it done that way before." But I realized at that point I had been truly complimented by one of the giants of magic of the 20th century. And as I say, if you want to stand up, you can, but I'd like to show you what he saw, and I'll try to keep this as simple as I can. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you. 4 kings. And 4 aces. We'll turn all the aces face down except for the ace of spades. And I'll lay the other aces here out in what we refer to as a T formation, for obvious reasons. These are the aces, these are the kings, and you don't believe me. And I don't blame you. But if you're taking a look, watch. First king, first ace, listen. Did you hear that? Yeah. That's where the magic happened. Look. 1, 2, 3, 4. The first ace has traveled. 4 cards. Again, all kings, if you're looking for an ace, you're going to be looking all day long. Next king, next ace, a little bit louder. Wayne's going to hear this at the front. 1 king, 2 kings, 3 kings, 4 kings, the third ace has traveled. 4 cards. 4 cards. Last king, last ace. Did you hear that? Barely. 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth ace has traveled. Thanks. We've got a great 24 hours, and I'm honored to have been the first act after Wayne. So thank you, Wayne. I truly appreciate it. And a lot of you are going to be performing. It's going to be wicked cool, and looking forward to seeing a lot of it. This deck's been here on the table since the very beginning. This is a deck from a friend who's been doing magic for more than 70 years, a friend who learned magic from people who learned directly from Houdini. Those of you who know me will know that I have a deep, abiding respect for my friend Howie Schwartzman. Howie actually learned magic, or started in magic some 70 years ago, because there was a ongoing feud, and this is, I promised I would get back to the 4 clubs, and this is where we do it. There was an ongoing feud between 2 New York City magicians. It was Richard Himber, the band leader, the Himber wallet, the Himber ring. That's magician talk, yeah. And Joseph Dunninger, who was a mentalist. Himber said, "I can get any teenage kid to do the stuff that you're doing, Dunninger." Dunninger said, "No, you can't." Himber enlisted the help of 14-year-old red-headed Howie Schwartzman. And he did everything Dunninger did, right down to the Mesdames and Messieurs, including an effect where he would read a woman's mind who was just thinking of a card, and invariably, that card was the Four of Clubs. So for decades, whenever you asked Howie to name a card, he would always name the Four of Clubs. And in tribute to Howie, whenever I'm asked, generally I'll name the Four of Clubs, but you already named it. Went over his house in Baltimore the other week. As I say, he's not doing as well as he used to, but he says, I have a gift for you, a deck of cards. I said, Howie, thank you. He said, you don't get it. This is a very special deck. This is an incredible deck. This is what I call, he said, my memory deck. Every card is different. It's stuff I've collected over 70 years of people I've known, places I've been, things I have done. He said, in the middle there are a couple of aces. Would you take them out and just put them face up on the table? I said, not a problem. And he said to me, I want you to start dealing down the cards. One at a time, face down. And he said, say stop at any point.
Stop.
Stop. That one right there. He said that was from the first time I actually met Professor Dave Vernon out at the Magic Castle in Hollywood. Now, you see, he said to me, you remember I called him Dave Vernon, because when he lived in New York, we'd call him Day, and when he moved to California, people started calling him Di Vernon. And you'd ask Vernon, do you prefer Day or Die? It's either. But that's what he would do, and he told me that story. He said, take the red ace and put it right there and put the rest of the deck on top, and I did. And he said, deal down again. Let's see if we can come up with another memory. And, sir, he said to me, say stop. Stop. And that card right there, he said, I'm sorry. He said, my memory's not as good as it used to be. But put the black card there. And I did. He said, now take the deck and spread it out, and I did like so. He said, you see the red ace? Take the red ace and the card above it. And I went, whoa. I said, Howie, that's my card. This is from a deck of cards that I had printed up for my company. He said, I know. You're part of my memory. And if you turn that card over, you'll see it's a match. And if you take the black ace and the card over here, you'll notice it's a match as well. Even more so, if you turn them over, you'll notice they're two black aces. And these cards are the two red aces. And I said, Howie, that's amazing. Thank you. He said, don't thank me. Please remember me and honor me. Honor me for the places I've been, the people I've known, the things I've done. But above all else, he said, please honor me for the memory of the Four of Clubs. My friends, I thank you. Have a wonderful evening here. I'm Steve Friedberg. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Let's do it again for Steve.
Woo. Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you, Steve. Next